Hi everyone. We'll look at a 4 to 4.5 month study plan starting March 2025 for your GMAT so that you will be ready to apply, catching the earliest round of deadline for fall 26 MBA. Right? If you want to start your MBA in August, September of 2026, the earliest application windows open sometime in August or September of this year. So if you start your GMAT preparation in March, then how does it line up so that you can catch these deadlines in good shape, right? Let's take a look at what you need to do. But before, there are a couple of things I want to address even as we start looking at the study plan, right? One of the things to keep in mind is that your GMAT score plays a crucial role in the admission decision of business schools, right? Rest of your resume are things that you cannot really change. You can present them differently, but where you studied, where you are working, how many years of experience you have, the role that you play, the designation that you have, these are things which are kind of etched in stone as far as your resume is concerned. Things that still are under your control are possibly these two, three things. One is your GMAT score, which is very crucial. Two is your networking capability. How will you network with admissions officers, with alumni, and the likes? And third, how you present your case, which is essentially how you put together your application packet, which includes application essays, the recommenders you're going to choose, and the way they're going to write the recommendation, how you do your video interviews. These make a difference. So, three things still in your hand. One is the GMAT score, two is basically your networking capability, and third, how you present your application. On that note, let's get started. And all these three are very important, and you need to provide time for the second and the third. You can't push your GMAT too close to the application deadline that you kind of do not do justice to the other two parts. Let's get started. We are in the middle of February. So, how does one go about it? Feb second half is a good time to start researching. Right. As I mentioned to you, GMAT is too important for you to take it lightly. What do I mean by that? Can you do self study and do justice to your GMAT preparation? Yes, you can. It is definitely an yes. But it is sometimes taking too much of a chance, right? This score is going to make a difference. For example, if you end up with a 645, your resume with a 645, let's say, gets you a 35th rank school. Your resume with a 675 in the GMAT could push your rank, the school rank, to about probably in the early 20s. Your resume with a 705 GMAT score could get you an admit and a scholarship from one of these early 20s or late teens, right? So this GMAT score is too important for you to say, like, I'll look at some of the forums, I'll look at some of these websites which provide free questions and try and do my preparation that way. So it's too important that you do not take a chance. I would strongly recommend that pick some structured preparation methodology. It could be a classroom program if you live in a city where good classes are available. It could be live online classes. It could be online courses. It could be one-on-one private tutoring. Choose what works for you, but go through a structured mechanism. Therefore, it makes a lot of sense. Here comes this point of research, right? Each student has a different learning style, and what we teach need not necessarily appeal to everyone, which is true for any test preparation company, any tutor. So my suggestion is take a demo class, take trial classes, right? Figure out, right, if there's an online course, look at the free content that's available and see whether the methodology is going to be one that will make your learning needs, will work for your learning needs, right? So do not let the research, don't hand over the research to someone, and don't go by just someone else's recommendation, right? The recommendations help you shortlist a bunch of places that you would want to evaluate, then run through this process yourself and see what works for you, and then sign up with that place, right? This research started in the second half of February. While you're at it, you can also take a diagnostic test. Visaco offers a free diagnostic test, online diagnostic test. The link to that is provided in the description of this video. It's a 2 hour, 15 minutes, 45, 45, 45 minute, 3-section test. Take the test. Don't worry about what score you get. Just basically get a handle on these things. How is this test structured? Am I able to sit in one go for 2 hours, 15 minutes? These are things that you'll get an estimate, right? So to know that, like, at the end of 1 hour, you're getting fidgety, you don't realize that you don't feel like sitting and completing the test. You know that one of the things that you need to build as in the process of your GMAT preparation is the stamina to do justice to a 2 hour, 15-minute examination. These are all the things that you're going to learn from the diagnostic test. You'll learn what kind of questions are there, how many of those you get right, what kind of questions you're a natural at, right? Maybe you're good at arithmetic, but you don't do too well in algebra. You're very good at, like, inference questions, whereas when it comes to direct questions, you tend to make mistakes because you're too fast. These are ideas and these are inferences about where you stand as you start a GMAT preparation is something that you'll get from the diagnostic test. One other thing that Visaco does, if you take our diagnostic test, which is absolutely free, we'll provide you with an AI assisted evaluation and let you know what all areas you need to improve upon and how you should go about your GMAT preparation, right? So complete this research, right? Speak to a few tutors, speak to a few test preparation companies, whatever works for you, choosing the methodology that you want, right? Go through all of these process that we hit March 1st. You should be ready to start your preparation. Typically, a good GMAT preparation lasts anything from 8 to 10 weeks. That's all that you need to get your basics in place. Again, I'll break it into two components. Basics, where you learn the basics, which predominantly happens in the area of quantitative reasoning, and it will also happen for verbal reasoning, predominantly when it comes to critical reasoning, right? In quant, you need to know how to factorize a quadratic equation. You need to know how to find the number of factors for a given number. You need to know how remainder theorem works and all of these things, right? So these are concepts that you learn in quant. There is quite a bit to learn there. In critical reasoning, how do you basically evaluate an argument? How do you strengthen an argument? How do you figure out what's the conclusion in the argument? What is the first step to look at in any critical reasoning question? So there are concepts to learn, right? So these are things that you learn. And there are other things which you do regularly to build your capability. That one thing is basically reading comprehension. Read every day, read at least for half an hour every day whenever you can find time, and also see if you can plug in one RC passage every day by solving questions and answering them, right? So this basically lets the RC preparation go on the side through the entire preparation window, so that like you get ready to read faster, comprehend faster, and also to answer questions effectively. So RC preparation happens through the entire preparation window. You do the concept preparation for the first 8 to 10 weeks, which is not just learning how to factorize a quadratic equation. You'll solve probably 20-30 questions in quadratic equations of different kinds, that you familiarize yourself with all the different questions that can appear there. Same holds good for critical reasoning, right? How do you identify a conclusion? What is an assumption? How do you strengthen an argument? You'll understand it, solve at least 20-30 questions to get yourself familiar with this idea. So these things happen. I've left out one section consciously, and that is data insights, right? I don't want anyone to start data insights even at the start, right? The idea being is this: data insights is typically tougher than the other two sections, which is true. Data insights consumes more time. Given that, then why shouldn't I start with data insights? Because a lot of what is tested in data insights are basically concepts from quantitative reasoning and verbal reasoning. If you do justice in terms of concepts for this, then your ability to plug it into a different type of question, the way it is structured differently, becomes so much easier. So at the end of the first 7-8 weeks, right, of the 8 to 10 week structured preparation of the concepts, that is the time you probably start taking baby steps into DI. Test out those different question types. Okay, now here's a table analysis question. So how do I solve this? Your quantitative reasoning concepts will come in place. Here is a MSR question, multi-source reasoning question. Here is a two-part analysis question. They'll have both verbal as well as quant flavors, right? Essentially, things that you learned in your critical reasoning, you'll be able to employ it in essentially a two-part analysis question. So basically, do these things at the end of the 6th or 7th week when you've covered 50 to 60% of the concepts, right? So 8 to 10 weeks of concepts practice, and more practice starts from May 15th, right? About 10 weeks from the time you started your preparation. This is the time you plug in official guide, right? Official guide, there's a main book and there are a couple of reviews. Pick those reviews, right? You have review for quant, verbal, and data insights, right? These have different questions. The main book has a set of questions which are different from what you'll find in the review. Go through all of the OG questions for the simple reason what you see in these OGs are essentially retired GMAT questions. It is like if you're writing 12th standard board examination, the natural thing that we'll do is we'll pick up the previous 3-4 years question paper and actually solve it to get ourselves familiar with how things are tested and how to go about it. The same thing happens with this. You can do it online because they have an online ebook which you can buy and use the online portal, or you can buy a physical book if that is what works for you. But OG preparation is a must, right? Go through any structured preparation for 10 weeks, plug in DI from the 6th or 7th week. Then at the end of the 10-week period, start your OG and also simultaneously do preparation from your test prep company's material, right? You wouldn't have finished it by then. All of these should get done by June 15th. Then you start your mock test. About a month is what you should give for your mock test. Take 2 mock tests every week, not more than that, right? A month is about 4.5 weeks. So 6 to 9 mock tests is what you will be doing. 6 of these mock tests that I would recommend that you take are what are available officially. 2 mock tests are free on the official portal mba.com. You can pay and get 4 more. These are gold, right? If you're taking the GMAT seriously and you need a good score, without going through these 6 tests, you wouldn't do justice to your GMAT preparation. So it's worth investing money in that and go ahead and do it, right? Why am I not suggesting more than 2 tests every week? You take a test in a day, analyze the test for another day, and then find out what gaps are there, plug in the gap for another day. So it's essentially a 3-day process. Take the test because you'll be working, you'll be studying. You can't invest full time into it, right? If you are lucky and if you can get a 1 month sabbatical in the run up to the examination, that's wonderful. But I'm afraid many of us will be able to afford that. So you might be able to give probably on a day 2.25 hours, 2.5 hours to take the test, and then another 2.5 hours the next day to analyze what you did right, what you did wrong, which is the question that you spent more time, what you should have skipped and come back to it later on. All of these analysis happen on the second day, and then you'll realize that these are 2-3 areas, right? Evaluate an argument. I'm struggling, right? I'm struggling with things like inequalities which involve absolute values, right? Plug in those concept gaps that you have, and then take another test on the 4th day. So 2 tests a week, analyze that. So essentially you'd be taking 6 to 9 tests. 6 of these are official mocks that you're going to be taking. They're definitely worth it. So by July 15th you should be able to take able to take your actual GMAT. If you do all of these steps right, there's a very high probability you're likely to land up with a score that you want. When you're taking this mocks itself, have one sense of what is, like, let's say you have a GMAT target score of 695, right? At least in a couple of these mocks, you should have hit the score of 705, right? If you're hitting only 655 in the mocks till that point in time, right, there's a very small probability that on the test day, the 655 on an average which I've been getting is suddenly going to jump into a 695, right? Quite often there are going to be exam day nerves, which means that if you're averaging 705, it is likely to come down by 10 points. It's unlikely to shoot up by 40 points. Many times we'll say in the board examination, in college semester examinations, we do this. All of us have done, right? We'll basically have 3 units to study. We'll study 2.5 units, and then we'll say we'll make it up with whatever we can do in the examination. That doesn't work in these kinds of standardized tests, right? So if you're on 705, I would say that you're likely to get a 685 plus. If you want a 705, in some of the mocks at least, you should have got a 725. So this is some kind of a, let's say, a thumb rule that you can work with, right? If you don't achieve that, then do a little more intensive preparation. Push this date. July 15th can become July 30th, right? That another 15 days given there is not going to harm you. If you took your GMAT on July 15th and you got the score that you want, more than what you want, good. Now we are in shape to actually start looking at the application process. Suppose it doesn't go as well as you expected. Give it a second shot, right? You can take the next GMAT 16 days from the time you took this GMAT. Give yourself probably 25 days or so. So by August 1st week, August 5th, August 10th, you should be able to take the second GMAT. By then, you would have taken the GMAT once actually, and you know what went wrong, what did not work the way you wanted. You would have ironed out all of those things. And plan B, which is the second attempt of the GMAT, you should get the score of your choice. Then you're ready to apply. Start the application process, even if you're doing the second GMAT from the first week of August. Right. As of June, July itself, a lot of these MBA tours by QS, by the MBA tour, which is GMAX MBA tour, all of these will start happening. Some of these would be virtual, some of these will be in person. Make sure that you provide time to attend those things, and also start attending those webinars which are conducted by the admissions team of schools that you're interested in applying to. Show your face, ask interesting questions, and essentially make them understand that you're keen on applying to that school. So in the process, again, from May onwards, start networking with alumni, start networking with second year students. If you're applying to the US, it's a 2-year program usually, right? Get an understanding about what is good about the school, whether you'll be a fit for the school, what kind of placements are there. Is this school going to let you make that shift in career? Understand all of these things. So by the time you're on August 5th or August 10th, when you have the GMAT score with you, definitely. At that point, you need to know that these are the 5 or 6 schools I'm going to be applying in round 1 application. And I know enough about these schools that I can start working on my application essays and I can start working on my resume. It usually takes about 25 to 30 days to get the first application packet. Subsequent ones actually are much faster. The good thing about R1 deadlines, the R1 deadlines span anything from end of August to middle of October. So if you're applying to 6 schools, not all 6 schools in all likelihood are going to have their deadlines on one single date saying that September 4th. Some might have August 23rd, some might have October 14th. So the August 23rd, September 1st week, start working on them. You'd be done with 2-3. The last 2-3 will spread out toward the end of September, early October. So actually you have a 45-day window in the R1 itself, depending upon which school you're applying to and what their deadlines are, right? So this is the process. Start now, do this research, do a lot of effort into the research. Don't take it lightly. Don't hand over that research process to someone else, and don't take someone's word for it. Do a diagnostic test. It's available free. The link to it is given on our description of the video. Start the preparation latest by March 1st. 10 weeks preparation and then start OG. A month down the line, take your mock test 6 to 9. 6 official mocks are definitely a must. And then July 15th, take the test. All goes well. You're ready to start applying. If you still need an attempt in about 20-25 days, you should take the second attempt and have your final GMAT score that you want by the 10th of August. And then you should be able to apply and catch R1 deadlines. That note, if you're looking for live online classes, I take classes. Feta, who has scored a 780 in the GMAT and is an MBA from USC Marshall, she handles the verbal and DI. Classes are for a duration of 9 weeks. They are very comfortably positioned from Indian time point of view. On Saturday, Sunday and Thursday from 9 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. these classes are scheduled. Take a demo, as I mentioned. Don't take my word for it. Don't take any of your friends or siblings' word for it. You can schedule a free demo. You can attend a quant demo, a verbal demo. This is a place where there's a Calendly link for you to take the demo, which is wzko.in/demo. Or you can reach out to us on WhatsApp in this number and get guidance on how to go about it. Best wishes. GMAT is too important. Don't take it lightly. And good GMAT score paves way for a great admission and scholarship.